What's going on, guys, and welcome back to episode 6 of my team career for the Spanish Grand Prix. And just rescheduling an upgrade that has failed and that I haven't put on in, well, actually I think it was due to be in for China, but I haven't put it back on. So yeah, and coming into qualifying, it's my fastest qualifying lap. My first qualifying lap wasn't too good, of course, as you can see from the red engine lights. I've got a very poor engine right now. It's on, I think, about 80% at this point, so not amazing. And turn 10, actually taken out of a bollard. That's going to have to be replaced. But welcome up there, that is me checking my recording. That happens a couple of times in this Grand Prix. Not too often, but it does happen. I'm setting a decent lap of 1:17.7. Not the best lap, not the worst lap that I've ever driven of Spain. And I didn't actually go for 3 runs of qualifying, I was trying to save the engine. But I qualified P16, but I think, as you've seen by the title, something changed.
Welcome along then to what promises to be another fascinating Spanish Grand Prix, a race which saw Max Verstappen win on his first ever appearance with the Red Bull team in 2016. This after the dramatic coming together of Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on the first lap. Will we see more moments for the scrapbook here today? It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Let's talk about Thomas. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he starts from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Sergio Perez and Sainz, Leclerc, Ricciardo, Stroll and Alexander Albon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Grosjean, Norris, Kevin Magnussen and Ocon, Kvyat, Thomas, Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi, Gasly, Russell, Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So 192 place grid penalty. Yeah, I changed the whole car out, except the gearbox. I did not change out the gearbox. And they're going for a medium hard today. Usual really strategy for Spain. Sometimes in sort of late seasons of the career mode, sort of season 3, to maybe stretch it to a hard soft or soft hard, depending what tickles you fancy.
But we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
And we're going to skip the majority of the formation lap because it's formation lap, not very interesting. Let's come to the end of it. Still says I'm in P16, I'm definitely not. And actually Mick Schumacher carrying on if you look at the mini-map. Yes, Mick Schumacher is carrying on. He's doing a second formation lap. This was very weird whilst I was sitting and waiting. I had to wait for him to do the whole formation lap again, which was very painful to sit through, but I've edited most of it out. Coming into the start as he just comes straight through us. No regard for my safety or my rear wing. Three, 4, 5 lights, and away we go. Not very good with the revs. I'm getting a little bit wheel spin in the first phase, but getting a lot better traction through the second phase. But we don't have much power. We do have a fresh engine, and going from the outside line into turn 1, trying to go round the outside of my teammate, have the inside line for turn 2, and coming through turn 3, the dirty air on the track so much. Hitting George Russell's rear tyre, checking front wing, going for a move on Gasly. We've got the inside line, and we give him a bit of a pinch. And have a look at Giovinazzi, but don't commit fully for the move. That's a recording cut. And Giovinazzi going for the big dive bomb on his teammate and also on Kevin Magnussen. Doesn't get very good traction on Kevin Magnussen, but still gets him. But Kevin Magnussen fights back. And with 3 wide, I go onto the gravel and go round the outside with my dirtied up tyre and make the move. I'm running definitely a higher downforce setup than most other cars. But still, that was a bit of a ridiculous move. And you can see my higher wings not helping. Pinching Giovinazzi onto the inside. He's ahead of us, coming into turn 1 braking zone. But we're getting back around the outside. Dripping a little bit wide before turn 9, hitting the gravel trap a little bit. I'm just trying to get all the grit off the tyres before we come into the corner. Max Verstappen setting the pace on this lap. And another recording up there. I did do a lot of them on the straights because that's the easiest place to do them instead of on the corner. Because I have to press a button in quick succession. I can't steer and press the button.
Charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
And actually also having trouble burning the fuel off. I'm 1.2 laps. I expected to be about 1.1 lap at this point, and actually going a little bit on the gravel trap. Don't know why I did that. It's definitely not for any game or anything, because that just gives me less grip through the coming corners, which is some fairly crucial corners.
Use your overtake button for more power. We need to push.
A little bit wobbly out of the last corner, but still getting a decent exit. 1 second up on our old personal best. And crucially, getting a 69 on the end of it. It's pretty nice.
Gap to car in front is 3.8 seconds.
Getting a little bit wide on the exit turn 4, trying to get on power a little bit too early maybe, and just understeering through the exit. Moving on forward then to the end of lap 7, nothing really interesting has happened. Hamilton and Verstappen pitted, they both pitted out in front of me. The only thing that really happened with that is Hamilton was about 0.4 of a second in front of me. Gave him a little bit of a knock on the rear wing. Didn't have any front wing damage, but the understeer through turn 3 was so bad. I drifted so wide. And I did come off the power, because I assumed there was going to be dirty air. But it's just so much dirty air around Spain. We've gone a little bit deep there into turn 5. Valtteri Bottas right on the back of us. He is well in our DRS. And I don't expect to get anything out of this fight. I don't really want to fight him. Skipping forward onto the straight. Give him a little bit of a squeeze. He does actually push us along a little bit. And going round the outside, actually nearly spin Bottas. He regains control of the car though, without fully spinning. Maybe a little bit naughty on my part, but I'll still call it a racing incident.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
Zipping a wheel into the gravel trap there. You can just see how much fuel I've got. I've been trying my darndest to burn some of this fuel off because weight. I'm not very good in a straight line, so I prefer to be as light as possible. That's one reason why I kind of like the weight reduction on the chassis side, because you're better in corners because less weight, and you're better on straights because less weight. Making a bit of a late move on my part. Bottas going for it into turn 1. He is ahead as we come through to turn 2, and Leclerc banging wheels with us, and you can see some of the dirty air there. And I wasn't even as close as I was to Hamilton, and that's how much dirty I got. a little bit of oversteer out of turn 9. It's going to put Leclerc right on the back of us. We're going to commit to the inside line, go for the dive down the inside because he was ahead in the braking zone, and just keeping him on that wider line. If I get a good qualifying in Monaco, then you best believe that I'm using my defensive driving, because at the point of recording this audio, I have not recorded Monaco, so I don't know what happens. So, yeah. Another recording cut there. What can I really say? It's just me stopping and starting the recording to make sure it's going. So far I'm managing to keep Leclerc at bay. It is definitely giving me a reason to burn fuel. And actually going very wide into the gravel trap.
Okay, we've lost the position.
That's definitely us down a position. And not one we're going to regain anytime soon. Maybe next season. I was trying to get into Leclerc's DRS for the straight, but I couldn't.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
And getting a track limits warning there from turn 9. Definitely taking a little bit too much inside. Doing a Max Verstappen USA 2017, if I believe correctly. It's not from 2016, it's one of the two. I'm not an expert with my Formula 1 history, but enough to get 6+. Because England, we don't have, well, I don't use A's, B's, I use 6s and 7s. Because why not? Bigger number equal better. And tyres really starting to go off now. They were feeling alright up until about lap 10, I'd say. But then I had a bit of an adventure with Leclerc in the gravel trap, which did not help the tyres much. And now they're really not feeling too amazing and getting a snap of oversteer out of turn 9, barely keeping it under control. We went one way, then the other.
Gap to car in front is 5.6 seconds. In this lap, push now. 13.8 seconds.
Done a little bit deep there into turn 10. Best exit I've ever seen. A little bit of a cut back there. There's another recording that I realised was a bit too close to the braking zone. So I came out of it and just whooped straight through. And actually putting it up into a rich mix for a couple of seconds. With the trundling down the pit lane at 50 mile an hour. I think we're 49 to do. There we go.
Complete, go now.
And I was running at max revs, trying to burn as much fuel as I can. And really pushing to try and get out in front of Kimi Räikkönen. He is very close. But we are going to stay out in front of him.
Overtake and burn some of this energy.
And Max Verstappen sets a new fastest lap, a 118, which is pretty quick considering my fastest is a 121.1. And Mick Schumacher coming into the pits, as well as Nicholas Latifi. That's going to jump us up a few places. Actually, I think that's 4 cars in the pits. And Räikkönen going for a move round the outside into turn 1, and he has got the move. Almost spins me actually. Checking front wing in case of any damage. That would be very bad considering how early I am in my stint.
Räikkönen ahead, they're on old mediums. Their tyres are 7 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1 minute 21.6.
And this is the problem with the Alfa Romeo, trying to battle one. They're very quick on the straight, and very bad on a corner. So coming through a corner, my biggest asset, even against top cars, I can't really gain much because I'm not close enough because of the straights. Even with DRS, I barely gain anything on him. So it is a bit of an uphill struggle. And you can see how little I really gained on the straight on Räikkönen. Also an annoying thing is that I'm having to take more adventurous racing lines. You saw there I was opening up turn 3 a bit more. And again here with turn 4, going a little bit shallower. A little bit lower speed on the entry. And coming out a little bit quicker on the exit. Try and maybe get a run on him through a straight. Because I do have slipstream, of course. I do have DRS on, well, in the DRS zones. And actually he's pulling away. He was briefly pulling away in that DRS zone. I know I had a pretty poor exit, but still he was pulling away from me in a DRS zone. And Ricciardo pitting. That's his second and most likely final stop. And actually just coming out in front of Gasly, and no, actually Gasly gets him. Margins of a second there in that fight. And still unable to break down this Alfa Romeo, which is pretty annoying considering they're lower on the R&D chart than us. And skipping on to lap 21, Raikkonen actually finally pitted. This was so much of a relief in the car, because he was on old mediums when I pitted out, so it was inevitable that he was going to pit. But it was so annoying to waste all that grip, because of course running in dirty air does do some stuff to your tyres. And also running in the dirty air, definitely losing me some time against Ocon, who's not really going to be caught by me now. It's more a case of hold my position. About all I can really do. Skipping forward on to lap 23, this is just me going around Barcelona. Vettel gaining on me, only 0.6 of a second out of my DRS now. And it's gonna get a bit scrappy, because I want those 2 points. It might not seem like much, and to a team like Mercedes, it is not much at all. But I think 2007, the World Championship, was literally 1 point. And I know that's when points were distributed a little bit differently, but still a point decided a World Championship. And Vettel going for the inside line for turn 1. I'll look around the outside and get a little bit, and well, yeah, I covered the inside line a bit better the next time. and yellow flags in my sort of little section, and Vettel going slowly.
Green flag.
So I suppose it's just as well that I've flashback. Well, it's not really any point in me flashbacking actually, because he was going to retire anyway. So that does relieve a little bit of pressure. I'm not having a Ferrari bear down on me, but I am having a Red Bull bear down on me. But Albon doesn't have much of a top speed advantage. He does, of course, have a speed advantage. He is in the manufacturer team, and also better aero and such, and a better chassis, better drag reduction, better everything really. But we do have the same engine, so I've got something going for me.
Caution, Ocon ahead. Gap to car in front is 16.9 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 9 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 20.7. You're losing around 7/10 a lap.
And I was trying to see if maybe Ocon was pitting again, but no, he's actually on 2 lap younger tyres than me. So he's definitely going to the end. Because mine, at this point, I predicted to be on about 65-70% as across the line. I do forget how accurate that was, but it was something around that.
Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
And actually, I accidentally hit the brake pedal there. Well, trigger. Rather than controller. I know, pad OP. But that's from where I stood up. I tried to look out the window because I'm on a straight. You know, I'm not in a corner. And as I stood up, the brake trigger pushed on my chair, which did not help things, really. And actually setting a personal best lap, even with me hitting the brake pedal on the straight. And that only lost me about 5 miles an hour as Albon goes round the outside, tries to give him a bit of a nudge wide, thankfully not making any contact. I'm getting a little bit wide actually through turn 3.
Our gap to the car in front is 16.6 seconds.
And a no recording cut, as per usual, I guess you could say. And actually cutting to me, a bit of a wheel in the gravel trap. That was 2 laps later. I didn't manage to get it live, sort of, as this, but Albon did manage to get past. Because I wasn't recording, because nothing interesting was really happening. As I got a big chunk of oversteer out of turn 9. That might seem like I'm not recording this audio sort of right as it is, but I am. I'm just very slow with my talking. So right now I'm coming into a corner, hitting the apex now. Hitting the apex now. now. About now. I'm trying to prove this, okay? Skip on further in the lap. Getting a big chunk of oversteer out of the corner. Sergio Perez maybe looking for the outside, didn't work for him.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
And another recording cut. And Perez now looking for the inside, gives me a little bit of a shove actually. I didn't see a front wing end plate fly off, so no damage for either car. I'm just checking the front wing quickly to be sure.
We expect you'll be noticing a bit of grip loss in the tyres around now, so just be careful.
Max Verstappen actually managed to set another fastest lap. I think it was a 1:18.1, if I'm not mistaken.
Fuel target is +1. Faster engine modes are available. Need to last till the end of the race.
My tyre's now really not feeling too good. But still managing to set a personal best sector 1, which is just stupid. I was going for a bit of a push this lap, because why not? I might as well try and pull away from Perez and have a bit more of a comfortable last lap. Going very nice through turn 7 and 8. We're getting a little bit sideways through turn 9, still getting a decent run though. And pretty much 0.3 of a second up as we come into the middle sector. Not very good though through turn 12, I believe that is. Very nice though through the chicane and coming out of the final corner using as much ERS as I possibly can. Try and get the best lap I can.
This is your final lap of the race.
And half a second better than my old personal best. And a 1:19.5. And getting very sideways out of turn 2. That's pretty much taking away all the gap I had there. The only positive I can say is that if I hadn't been pushing, then I wouldn't have had that gap. And as usual custom, I suppose you could say, on the final lap, when I'm not really chasing anyone, I like to do a bit of engine saving and such, because I still want these parts for other Grand Prix. I know, big shocker. And Perez sending it down the outside, round the outside, turn 10, and Sainz actually getting him. Doesn't really matter, it's not for points or anything. I suppose it's more for pride. Coming across the line for P10. That's definitely a P10 that I'm happy with. Quite definitely. And we managed to snag driver of the day, of course coming from P22, after a 192 place grid penalty.
Special race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Thomas. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Bottas moving further ahead in the championship. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for the Monaco Grand Prix.